If the speed limit of the pits is 80 miles an hour, you get it to 86 miles an hour, they're going to give you a stop-and-go penalty.
Now the next pit we need to watch for is Mansell's. Lyondike is back out right behind Robbie Buell in the MyJack car, owned and operated by Dale Coyne. Moves inside him, gets on his way.
We wait too for Fittipaldi, who is the leader, due in at any second now. Paul Tracy came out, of course. There is Fittipaldi in, Jan.
Fittipaldi hit right on the marks. Boy, Paul, he came screaming in here, trying to save as much time as possible. This is another Penske car that we're expecting to see no changes. The tires are on. Man, that was quick. Just waiting for the last bit of fuel, and Emerson Fittipaldi be on. He's off, and he's out of here. 13.7 seconds, Paul.
And you see Paul Tracy coming up the hill. Now, at this time, Fittipaldi's under the 80-mile-an-hour limit. If that limit didn't exist, you would have seen a whale of a drag race as they come out of the pits. Go to Gary.
Nigel Mansell in for his first of 2 expected stops today. Tommy Wirtz not making any changes up front. Everything looks smooth and routine. He's trying to gain that position back that he lost to Arie Luyendyk through the work of his pit crew. We'll see how it translates when he gets back on course.
Boy, look, both of them, Sullivan and Mansell. Mansell wiggling left and right as he applies the power, trying to get up to speed. You saw the celebration, the elation, too, in Danny Sullivan's crew as they got Sullivan out ahead of Mansell and continued their battle there. Luyendyk just coming down the hill now. There he is as he comes in behind Mansell, and he moves to battle for position.
And you see what happened there. How sideways can you be in the pit lane and not lose it? But that has allowed him to get ahead of Luyendyk. But here's the battle rages.
Luyendyk makes the move on Mansell, and Luyendyk is passed again. So Luyendyk moves into 4th, Mansell back to 5th. Boy, as they come off of these pit stops, we've seen some wonderful confrontation. Here was Mansell coming out of the pits.
Drops the clutch, and watch this crisscross of the steering wheel. Sideways. Sideways again. Break it away again. Look at this. 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Trying to beat Luyendyk, and he didn't quite pull it off.
The question, of course, is going to be whether or not he ticked over that 86-mile-an-hour cap on the speed limit in the pits. No doubt the officials saw the maneuver back and forth and are taking a real hard look at that situation. I think it probably was very close, but as yet, no indication.
Well, the front wheels may have been doing 80 miles an hour, but the rear wheels were definitely near 180.
Yeah, you wonder what they're going to read. Are they going to read the lateral speed or the frontal speed on the car? The Makita 300 continues from Monterey, California. Tracy in front. Potential of another runaway by Paul Tracy. After the first round of stops, he is the leader once again. His teammate, the pole sitter, Emerson Fittipaldi, sits in 2nd. Danny Sullivan, with a brilliant drive today, sits in 3rd. Arie Luyendyk 4th. Nigel Mansell is 5th. And Stefan Johansson currently runs in 6th place. Continuing on in 7th, Scott Goodyear, Bobby Rahal, Mario Andretti, and Teo Fabi.
You can see that Goodyear got the better of Rahal during those pit stops. He was behind him before he went in. Now he is ahead of him. There has been a little bit of shuffling because Alonso Jr., who's a little bit further back, has managed to claw his way past Teo Fabi.
Looking back through the field now, here comes Mario, Alonso Jr., and Teo coming down the hill. And little Al, of course, full load of fuel. Look at him. He bottomed going into the corner, and then with that full load, got on the brakes very hard, smoked all the tires.
And that is a scary thing to do down on that hairpin, because if you lock the brakes and you make a beeline for the inside line, you can T-bone somebody so easily. Believe it or not, sometimes the car ahead sees the smoke coming, and if he thinks it's going to be an accident, he'll actually move wide. Mario didn't that time.
Change in weight on the car from when it goes in empty to when it comes out is well over 200 pounds. And if they don't set their controls in the cockpit for handling just exactly right, that race car can be very hard to handle.
And Al Jr. is a master at making passes when the conditions are difficult. The conditions are more difficult on full fuel with cool tires. Tires not up to optimum working temperature. If he doesn't make the pass there, he knows sometimes he'll struggle mightily to make it later.
Here's up the hill, the sun shines at the scenic Laguna Seca. And that dive down the hill. Thrilling ride the first couple of times, tedious after that, and a very fast left-hander at the bottom that's very difficult to drive.
Here we go again. Is he close enough? Is he close?
He's going to try it. Nope.
Oh, you need to almost be side by side. See, Mario clips the curb on the inside. You got to be side by side with Mario if you're going to make a realistic pass. Look at Ray Hall.
Ray Hall looking for that line that has worked for others today as he moves on Scott Goodyear. Ray Hall currently 8th, looking for 7.
There is racing room here, but sometimes you have to force the issue, and down into turn 2, you really have to force it sometimes. Ray Hall wasn't prepared to do that right there.
Ray Hall uses all of the course and then some, continuing his pursuit of Scott Goodyear.
Uphill run. You cannot make a mistake here. You make a mistake, you lose 2, 3, or even 4 positions because it takes you that much time to grab the momentum back.
Fight broken off for the moment here. Let's go and take a look at Raul Boisel. He's been locked for the past couple of moments in a battle with Gugelmin. Gugelmin sits just in front of him. Now here we have an additional advantage. We have telemetry coming out of Raul Boisel's car.
And this is real-time telemetry. What you see is what's going on in Boisel's Ford engine as we see it. Watch the speed on the right side climb up. 168, almost 170 miles an hour, and he's only 4 or 5 laps after his pit stop. Boisel not as fast, not as competitive as he has been in weekends past. The first session here on Friday morning broke the gearbox, lost an hour and a half of precious track time, and Dave Cripps, who is his engineer working on this car, said they just cannot catch up when you lose that amount of track time. Sat on the little bit of Gugelmin's setup, put some of that onto Boisel's car, but really, as Cripps says, you need every lap you can get when you only have 4 short sessions.
Boisel has not only his battle with Gugelmin, but he's also just about 10 seconds from going a lap down. Keep an eye on the back of Gugelmin's car as well, too. It looked as if they climbed, when they climbed the hill, that there was a bit of misting at the back of his car. Jan Vikas, you can update us on Boisel?
Actually, I can update you on the whole Dick Simon team. All 4 of their cars are all running together. To add to what Derek was talking about short sessions, they did not have the opportunity to come here and test. So they're just shooting with what they would use as their normal road course setup. Obviously, all those drivers are very close together.
Unser Jr. makes a move on Mario Andretti. Teo Fabi closes in as well. So this fight that has been set up for several laps now becomes something very real. Mario sweeps to the outside. Teo looks for the inside. It's a battle for 10th place.
And let me tell you, that was absolutely forcing the issue. Look at Al Jr. down the inside, and Mario does not give up. Watch this. Watch the wheels almost contact each other. Mario was not willing to give that up, but Al Jr. forced his hand. Fabi almost followed Al Jr. through.
And really a spectacular piece of driving by all 3. Mario stayed right where he needed to be. Little Al stayed low on the corner. Teo put the nose in there, but continued to be part of the battle. Willie T. Ribbs, he got restarted, but now he's off the edge of the course again. So Willie T. with a continuing problem on a hard day on what it essentially is his home track. 300, we're tracking Mario Andretti and Teo Fabi and their circulating battle for 10th place and the interval. Being reported out of the race now with a broken header on the car. Assisting ESPN with aerial coverage of this year's 1993 Monterey Grand Prix are the fine folks from Delco, the official battery of IndyCar racing. Look at that view down. And the tremendous crowd, once again, just a gigantic crowd here at Laguna Seca. Even despite all the fog this morning, they were here plenty early at 6 o'clock. Scott Sharp there on the outside of the fight between Lyondike and Sullivan, and Scott's staying with that battle.
Oh, I'm not sure he saw a line. Oh, who's that? Jimmy Vasser in all sorts of trouble on the way up the hill. Gets it out of control, and luckily didn't get all the way to that concrete wall.
Boy, he just gathered that car up at the last possible second. No doubt felt that he was in trouble as he started the turn into the corner, got out of everything, and was able to keep it under control.
Mark Smith now the next one on Danny Sullivan's shopping list. They are lapping these cars. Mark Smith in the 92 Penske. I think he's had a tremendous baptism into IndyCar racing. Moves aside as he should. He'll see Lyondike. He'll allow him to go by because he knows they are in a private battle. Mark Smith does. He moves to the right-hand side, lets Lyondike through.
It's my understanding that Mark Smith with Craftsman may be moving over to Derek Walker next year, and that would be a fine move for him, and also opens a wonderful opportunity with Frank Archiero's team.
Another team and driver that probably haven't got the results they deserve. Mark Smith has been in the top 10 on many, many occasions, but he has suffered more than his fair share of gearbox problems.
We take you all the way through the running order now at the completion of 38 laps. Again, the name that is most prominent, though not visible on the screen all that much, is Paul Tracy. That's because he's 11 seconds in front of the entire field with another terrific run. But let's just go back to Phoenix and remember when he had 2 laps on the entire field and then trouble. We don't hope that on him. It seems like there's been a great deal of maturing during the year, but we'll keep an eye on it. On board, Danny Sullivan.
Oh, Fabi's out of control.
In trouble. And fortunately, Gordon sees it plenty ahead, but what about the rest? Yes, they all get a good view of him and are able to get out of the throttle as he gets back on course.
Trying to get by Mario Andretti. Forced the issue. That was turn 4. The very fast right-hander, but luckily he didn't stall the car. We saw him wheel spin away from that stop position. This now is a battle for position with Fabi and Gugelmin.
Dale Fabi was 11. Gordon got around him, then picked up the position and pulled Gugelmin into contact with Fabi.
Tail end of that pack is Paul Tracy. So Tracy very close to putting a lap onto Fabi and Gugelmin.
Well, I mentioned not so long ago that he was 10 seconds behind Gugelmin. Now look, he's right there. We get Ford telemetry out of this car as well. RPMs on the top, throttle position on the bottom, and of course the miles per hour as the speed climbs coming up the hill. Over the top, downhill now.
175 we saw. So you can see as this low drops, he's actually running almost 5 miles an hour quicker than Bozell was at that particular time. Mind you, that was only a 1-lap sample we took from Bozell. See the throttle? You can see him playing with the throttle. Now it's full. Changes gear. Off completely for the right-hander. That's where Fabi crashed. That's where Fabi spun. And gets back on the power again. But now Tracy about to pick his way through the back markers. Next one on his list is Bozell.
And this is where Tracy must be so very careful as he works his way through the field. It's been a dangerous positioning for him in the past. Jan Beekes, you have an update?
Yes, checking in with the 2 cars, Paul, that have gone off course. First, we checked with Jimmy Vassar's crew. We talked to Jim Hayhoe, the team owner. He says he called in. He said, I went off big time, but the car's okay. Same thing with Teo Fabi. Talked to Jim Hall. He said, he radioed in and said, yeah, I went off big time, but the car's okay. Both drivers saying not car problems, just getting too aggressive.
Well, if the cars are all right, the question that has to remain is how much debris, how much sand, grit, and gravel got up on there. There's Tracy making his move on Bozell. So that course could be getting slicker and slicker in that corner.
And where is Emerson? There he is. You can see it now. It's 7 seconds on the last lap. Emerson is losing ground to Tracy. Emerson still holds fastest lap of the race, but Tracy is running just a little bit faster as Emerson makes his way through some clouded, some tire smoke.
The traffic is costing Paul Tracy, though, as we've just rolled over the halfway point of the race. And right now it seems that Fittipaldi is able to close very efficiently on Tracy in this last lap. He trimmed 2 seconds off of Tracy's lead. And Danny Sullivan, after a superlative drive suddenly in the pits. Jan Beekes, what's wrong?
Yes, we have a report that it may be a broken header. At least that's what it sounds like from observers. Obviously, the crew is scouring all over the car trying to find what that might be. They're actually not looking in that area, though. They're looking up more towards the drive pulleys up on the front of the engine. As soon as we get a report, we'll make sure to let you know what the problem is with Sullivan. But a major setback for the 3rd place runner.
Very costly to Danny Sullivan. Ari Lyondike comes up and takes 3rd place, followed by Mansell and by Johansson. Piece of debris off the last corner. What that?
Looked like a rear wing from Robbie Buell's MyJack car. I mean, it's so...
Yep.
Oh, no, it wasn't Buell. Scott